Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Let Us Hear podcast. Let me go ahead and reintroduce myself since it has been extremely long since I've uploaded a video. My name is JJ Raya, J5, host of the Let Us Hear podcast. And going forward, I know I said this multiple times, but I'm extremely dedicated to make this channel become something. And to the ones that have subscribed to this channel, our past listeners, and you are here right now, I just thank you for clicking on this video. It just shows so much support to my grind and this channel, just because of the fact that I've not uploaded in I don't know how long, probably like 6 months, maybe even longer. But yeah, football season is here. College is underway. NFL starts up in a week. And before you know it, NBA is going to be right here as well. So on today's episode, I will be doing my college football season preview. I'll be going over the teams that I have an agenda for, my national championship winner, my Heisman winner, and also reacting to week 0, strictly just that Florida State game because that was a top 25 team playing against Georgia Tech. So let's get started. Let's talk about the teams that I'm very high on this season. And starting off with the Arizona Wildcats. And all I have to say is Fafita and McMillan. Now, that duo, they have been playing with each other since, I believe, middle school. If not middle school, then for sure high school. So, their chemistry is on lock. It's like a Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase type of chemistry. And, Fafita, he was a redshirt freshman. He had to step in and take the rollover once the starting quarterback got hurt. And they ended up winning 10 games. They ended up beating Oklahoma in their bowl game. But the reason why I'm very high on Arizona this year is because, like I said, Fafita and McMillan. Now, I know offense just doesn't win games in college, well, in any sport really. But as we've seen last year with Jaden Daniels and LSU, they had the number 1 offense, but they had 0 defense. They weren't in the college football playoffs or anything. Their season, I want to say went to waste because, Jaden Daniels ended up being the number 2 overall pick. And before his season, he wasn't even projected to go in the first round. But let me get back on track with Arizona. I just think that the only thing that will hold them back is their lackluster defense. With Fafita and McMillan being able to produce points, I think Arizona's going to be putting up numbers this year. I think that they'll be scoring, 28 to 35 points a game. But they're kind of they're not able to do everything. They're not able to play defense or anything. But with their schedule not being extremely hard, I do think that favors them a lot. They start off with New Mexico, and then their toughest game, their first real test is against Kansas State. Going to Kansas State, playing quarterback Avery Johnson. And the reason why I think that Arizona can eventually win that game is because Avery Johnson, it's his first full season as a starter. And, like I said, it is at Kansas State, so that'll help Avery Johnson. But I'm just rolling with Arizona because Fafita, he has that he knows what it's like to play on the road. He's comfortable with McMillan, and with this being such an early game, Avery Johnson, this would just be his third start, fourth start. I think he started in their bowl game, but I would just take the more experienced quarterback in Fafita. Now, to look at their win total that FanDuel has for them, it's at 7.5, and I believe that is a crazy number. I believe that they get 10 wins, if not more. But if you're a betting person, that's 7.5. You have to take that, in my opinion. They're basically saying that Arizona is going to lose all of the games that are up in the air. They got Kansas State, they got Utah, Colorado, and West Virginia. Now, Colorado's at home, West Virginia's at home. I have them winning both those games. Like I said, I have them beating Kansas State as well. Utah, they'll probably lose that game, but if they win that game, they're in position to play for the Big 12 championship. And I won't be shocked if we see them in the Big 12 championship game. I don't think that they will win the Big 12, but I won't be surprised if. Well, it's like I have them. If I have them playing in the Big 12 championship, there's obviously a chance that they win the Big 12 championship. So, I shouldn't say I don't think that they'll win it because at that point it'll be a 50-50 chance if they win their conference. So that's the first team that I'm very high on. Arizona Wildcats. Fafita and McMillan, they're gonna feed families this year, and McMillan behind Luther Burden. He's the second best wide receiver in the country, but you could definitely make an argument for the number one receiver in the country. Now, my second team, I have the Miami Hurricanes. And, Miami, they always had this narrative of, is Miami back? Now, I'm not going to say that they're officially back, but, what they did this year with the portal moves, it's very hard to say that they aren't back. They got the best quarterback in the transfer portal, which was Cam Ward from Washington State. They brought over Oregon State's running back Damian Martinez, which was a very good ad. And then you still have Restrepo and Jacoby George there, and they were the two best. The 2 and 3 best ACC receivers last year. And with Cam Ward being a dual threat quarterback, that offense is going to be very exciting to see. Especially like I said, they brought over Damian Martinez, and I believe he rushed for about 1,200 yards, or just a little bit under 1,200 yards last season. Now, if you're able to get the run game going, and like I said, Cam Ward was one of the best passers last year in college football for how much that he had to do. He accounted for 70% of Washington State's offense. Now, he's able to ease back just a little bit, but now that they will have a run game, he has an excellent O-line in front of him. But, when that run game gets going, you still have a quarterback back there that can pass for 300 yards. Miami can be one of the top offenses this season. But like I said, they always had that narrative, is Miami back? And until they go out there and prove it, I believe that's when we should start saying it. But their schedule this year, their toughest games are at Florida, which is week 1. I will be taking their money line. Florida is they're just not there yet. And with Miami, doing what they did this year, they have one of the most talented rosters in the ACC. So if they go out there and they flop week 1 against Florida, that is way below them talent wise, I wouldn't say it's a failed season right then and there, but with all this hype that is around them in this offseason, you can't go out there and not perform against Florida. Although it is at Florida, it's in the swamp. Crazy things happen in the swamp, but with Cam Ward being an experienced quarterback, the job has to get done week 1, and you have to go out there and handle business. And I believe that this game shouldn't even be close. Right now, it's a 2.5-point spread, but I think Miami can win this game by ultimately, 17, 20, 21 points, anywhere in that range. Because like I said, Florida is not there in the talented level-wise as that Miami is. Another tough game that they have on their schedule is at Louisville. and then at Florida State, and that Louisville and Florida State game are in back-to-back weeks. So right there, you know, those all of their tough games are on the road, which is very hard for them. But like I said, they have an experienced quarterback, um, and Cam Ward. He knows what it's like to play in those rivalry games. He knows what it's like to play in a hostile environment on the road. Um, so, I'm just banking that Cam Ward is going to be the Cam Ward that we've seen last season. Um, and like I said, he doesn't have to do crazy things that he was doing at Washington State to get the job done. So I'm just very excited to see this Miami team, and as I said, with Arizona having 10+ wins, I believe that Miami could have 10+ wins as well. And I have them winning the ACC championship game. Clemson and Florida State are uh their two toughest battles to compete for the ACC title. But like I said, Miami is the most talented roster in the ACC. They have the best quarterback in the ACC, and when you have the best quarterback and the best roster in college, there's no reason why you shouldn't win your conference. And also, they have never had 3 straight seasons of being below 500 in conference games. So, I just think that this year, the things that they did in the portal, they're making sure that they don't make it 3 straight seasons. Now, the last team that I'm very high on, that I have an agenda for, is Notre Dame. Like Miami, Notre Dame has that narrative that, oh, Notre Dame's always overrated. They don't play nobody, this and that. They never live up to standards. But the things that they did this offseason, like Miami, they went out there and they got a new quarterback. They brought over Riley Leonard from Duke, and also they brought over LSU's offensive coordinator, Mike Denbrock. And we seen what he did for Jaden Daniels and LSU last season. They had the number 1 offense. So, Notre Dame, if they can just have, any consistent type of offense with the defense that they have, I believe that they have a top 3 defensive unit. I won't be shocked by the end of the season if they're ranked number 1. Right now, I have Ohio State and Georgia defense in front of them. But with Riley Millis and Howard Cross being the run stuffers, you got Jack Kaiser, a senior linebacker who has that vet experience, that vet presence in the middle of the field. And then you go to the secondary with Benjamin Morrison, who is a top 2 corner in the country behind Will Johnson from Michigan. Last season Morrison had 10 passes defended with 3 interceptions. And then you go into the safety position with Xavier Watts, who led the nation in interceptions last year with 7. So when you have a defense like that, the offense just needs to produce 24 points a game. Sometimes not even that, depending on who you're playing. And more times than not, you're going to win the game because that defense is just so elite. It's going to be so hard to score points on them. With Riley Leonard being a dual threat quarterback as well, we seen what Denbrock did for Jaden Daniels, incorporating him into the running game, and just excelling Jaden Daniels' passing game to a higher level that we didn't think that he had. So if Denbrock's able to do that for Riley Leonard, get him in a rhythm pretty early in the game, and then those deep shots will come. Notre Dame they're gonna be a tough game, no matter who they play, and I won't be shocked if this is a bold statement, but I won't be shocked if we see Notre Dame make a natty title run. I really like the defense that they have. Like I said, they could be a number 1 defense by the end of the year. And if Riley Leonard is able to produce points for that offense, the sky's the limit for Notre Dame. And we've heard some good things out of camp that, their wide receivers are making plays, but also they have Mitchell Evans, their tight end. He had a stretch of games of 3 straight games where he went 7 for 75 versus Ohio State, 6 for 134 versus Duke, and then 4 for 71 versus Louisville with the touchdown that game, which was his only touchdown on the year. So I believe that Mitchell Evans will be one of Riley Leonard's favorite targets this year. And if you have receivers on the outside making plays, Notre Dame's always going to be able to run the ball. Like I said, Riley Leonard will be able to contribute to the run game. This offense can put themselves in a top 10 category. Sorry, not top 2. Top 2 would be crazy. But their schedule, they start off at A&M, which is against Riley Leonard's former head coach, Mike Elko. The Mike Elko era starts in A&M. The Riley Leonard era starts in Notre Dame. But playing at College Station is going to be very difficult, especially week one. Week one, vibes are going to be high. And with Notre Dame having offensive line troubles, they don't have both their tackles. They don't have their center. So, they're going in there with a group of linemen who don't have much experience playing together. So that could be very hard. We could see a lot of delay of games, a lot of false starts, just because the atmosphere that's at College Station. But I believe Marcus Freeman will have that team prepared and ready. Like I said, I believe it's going to be a low-scoring game. Notre Dame defense gets the job done for them, and I believe that they start the year 1-0. Right now, they're at plus money on FanDuel, moneyline wise. So, if you're a betting person, go ahead, take Notre Dame moneyline because they will start the season 1-0. They host Louisville, they host Florida State, and then they finish their season off rival game at USC. Those 4 games, none of them are cakewalks, but with the defense that they have, I believe that they should get the job done. We just seen Florida State. That offense it was trash. USC, I do believe that USC is going to be something this year with Miller Moss at quarterback. Lincoln Riley is always he's gonna produce a offensive scoring system no matter who's at quarterback. But I just think it comes back to defense. Notre Dame has a defense, USC not so much. And with that being an end of the year game, we know what both teams look like. Hopefully by then, Notre Dame's offense is scoring points in bunches, and defense is just playing elite. And like that, that's another 10-plus win team right there. But I do believe Notre Dame is going to be one of the best teams in the country this year. Now, let's move on to my national championship winner. You guys see, I have my Ohio State shirt on. I've been an Ohio State fan for, I believe, since 2016. No, 2015. 2015. Yep. 2015 was my first year being an Ohio State fan, and these last 3 seasons, man, just heartbreaking after heartbreak. We just been getting dog walked by Michigan, losing to Georgia in the semis. Heartbreaking game against Clemson. Then we get our get back against Clemson and get rolled by Alabama, which was one of the best college teams out there. But the reason why I have Ohio State win the national championship, not only because I'm a fan of them, but just realistically, they did it all this offseason. The portal, bringing guys back, and making moves in the coaching room as well. A little bit of history in this pick. Ohio State won the first the first actual 14 playoff national championship. So it's like, why not win the first 12 team playoff championship? So but like I said, 85% of the team is returning. Most of them on defense. They added Junkins on offense, who he's ridiculous in college football in the college football game. But with him and Junkins and Travion being the running backs, and then you brought over Chip Kelly, who has a dynamic run game. I'm not gonna say that we're gonna see a ground and pound type of Ohio State season, but I do think that they're gonna lean on these running backs a lot, especially with the wide receiver group not being how we've seen it. When it was like Olave, Garrett Wilson, and Jackson Smith, but you still have weapons out there. You have a Emeka Ibuka, who's a vet when it comes to being on that team. He knows the system. And then you have Jeremiah Smith, who he's going to tear it up at his time at Ohio State, I believe. He's a freshman though, but he's just ready for college football. I'm not gonna say he's gonna go out there and be like a Marvin Harrison, but I won't be shocked at his second year there, his third year there. We're talking about him being the best Ohio State receiver ever. But you move it on the defense. Like I said, they brought back everybody on defense pretty much, and then you added a safety in Caleb Downs, where we needed much help at that position, because we had the outside on lock. Denzel Burke returned, but when you have a guy like Caleb Downs, who's just able to, he was all freshman team last year while playing in the SEC, while playing at Bama, and really, as a freshman, he was the best safety. He was the best safety in the nation. Although I did mention that Xavier Watts he led the nation in interceptions, but just the things that Caleb did from coverage, punt returns, and coming up to make a tackle. Caleb has it all, and Ohio State has the best roster in the nation. And like I said with Miami, if you have the best roster in your conference, you better win your conference. Ohio State has the best roster in the nation. So they better go out there and they better win the national championship. And if they don't, I may have to find me a new college football team, because I'm tired of Ohio State always having these top talent rosters. They always have a top 3 roster, and they could just never get the job done. Ryan Day, if you don't get the job done this year, my man, I'm not going to say you got to go, but, man, you better get to the national championship at least. Now, if we lose in a heartbreaker, it is what it is, but bro, we have to get to the national championship. There's zero reason why we shouldn't be in the national championship. Ryan Day has given up play calling. He's passed it over to Chip Kelly, who we brought in to be our offensive coordinator. Like I said, he has a dynamic run game. It's hard to look at his season last year with UCLA, because he doesn't have running backs like Travion or Junkins. But both UCLA running backs did have 800+ yards. And then when you look at his time when he was at Philly, Shady McCoy had 1,600 yards, and then their number one receiver also had 1,300 yards. I know that was a very long time ago, but it just shows what he could do with this offensive system. And like I said, I don't believe it's going to be a full Chip Kelly offensive system. You're still going to have the passing game with Ryan Day as the head coach. You have an experienced quarterback in Will Howard leading your team. And you know, we've seen, well, we've heard from camp news that he's shown flashes with his legs, and he can even add to the run game. So if you have a quarterback that can, that's not a statue back there, that just helps out even more. Now, when we go into their schedule, they play at Oregon, which I believe will be the game of the year. They play at Penn State. Right now, I was looking, it's like only a 3-point spread. I believe that's crazy right now. I think we roll dog Penn State. Penn State, they are just trash. They are just trash. They could just never beat us or Michigan, or you put them against any comp, they ain't gonna get the job done. And then we host Michigan this year. Like I said, Michigan has beat us 3 times in a row. And if we lose 4 times in a row at home, it's gonna be a sad day here and a sad day in Columbus. And then also they host Iowa. So not the easiest schedule, but their non-conference games are very easy. But I'm very excited to just watch us go out there and dominate. Hopefully, like I said, I believe that Oregon game is going to be the game of the year. I believe that we see I believe that we see that matchup twice this year. I think we're going to see it again in the Big Ten championship, Ohio State versus Oregon. And, of course, I have us being on top, winning the Big Ten championship, finally bringing it back home to Columbus, and then we get that first round bye. We just roll through the playoffs. We get to the natty. We get the job done there. Now let's move into my Heisman winner. I'm gonna make this very quick because I already talked about him a lot throughout this video. My Heisman winner is Cam Ward. The only thing that I think holds him back from getting that award is because we all know that it's a QB award, but I don't think that. Well, his stats may not be what it has to be in order to get that Heisman, just because, like I said, he has a run game now. So that might take away from his stats. But if Miami's able to have a 11-1 year, a 12-0 year, a 10-2 year, I do believe that Cam Ward is going to be in position to be in that Heisman category, just because he's going to be the reason that Miami had the season that they had. A dark horse Heisman winner could be Shador, just because it's his draft year. Deion, I believe that Deion's going to lean on Shador to do a lot this year, and like Jaden Daniels last year, Jaden Daniels had the stats to be the Heisman winner, but he didn't have the wins to make up for that. But clearly it's just about stats. So if Shador's going out there, passing for 350 a game, 400 a game, I don't see why Shador can't be in that conversation. Right now, he's plus 4,000 to win Heisman. Right now, Cam Ward's plus 1,400. Early in the week, like Tuesday, I checked. You got Tuesday. What was that? I don't know. But you guys will probably be seeing this Monday. So a week ago, I'll say Cam Ward was at plus 2,000, and right now he's down to plus 1,400. So that just shows that he's probably getting some votes right now. Vegas is. He's probably getting some bets right now. Vegas is just accounting to that and just changing the numbers up. Let's wrap this video up real quick with just our week 0 reaction. Florida State is garbage. Going into that game, the spread all offseason was at 12.5, and then early in the week before the game was played, it moved down to 10.5, and still I knew that Georgia Tech was going to cover that spread. You could have used the motive that Florida State was cheated last year. They should have been in the college football playoff, and that they were going to go out there and dog walk a Georgia Tech team that they believe that shouldn't have been on the same field as them. But clearly, bro, you guys lost outright. I'm not gonna say I thought that Georgia Tech was going to win the game because I didn't. I knew that they were going to cover, but I didn't think Georgia Tech was going to win the game. But the season's not over for Florida State. It's a 12-team playoff now, but the way that they look, it's only week 0. I'm not going to overreact on them, but they got to get things right, because if they don't, if that offense doesn't improve, they're going to lose to Clemson. They're going to lose to Miami, and they won't be playing for no ACC championship. They won't be playing for no natty. They may lose recruits, but DJ is trash. I believe his first half stats, I believe he had like 96 passing yards, but his air yards were like 2 yards. So I don't know. They got to figure something out. You know that they're going to be able to run the ball, but if you're only able to run the ball, you're not going to beat nobody, because they have a lot of different faces on Florida on their defensive side. But obviously, as the season goes, they'll be able to communicate better. Just be more familiar with playing with each other. But yeah, they got to get things right. Florida State, man, terrible way to start your season, especially how it ended last year, not being able to go to the college football playoff because you lost your quarterback, and to go out there week 0, first game of the year, everybody's watching, and you go out there and put that performance on. It's just sad. Shout out to Georgia Tech. They came out there. Heads are turned their way. They dominated on the ground. They did what they had to do, defensive wise. They went out there, played a great game of football, and ended up winning the game. So shout out Georgia Tech. That was their first top 10 win since they've beaten Florida State. I don't know how many years ago, but I know it was a long ass time ago. So shout out Georgia Tech. But that's going to wrap it up for this video, guys. I'm extremely excited for the college football season. Like I said, NFL starts up soon, so I have my NFL season preview video. I'll probably sometime out next weekend or next week, Monday. So like I said, I'm extremely dedicated this year. I'm ready to make a name for myself, a name for this channel. And I'm just extremely excited for the road ahead. And I'm ready to attack it. Let's do great things. Let's do great things. J5 out.